Hello and welcome to Think Tank for this week. This week we're talking about rent rolls, buying versus building organically. And I'm joined today by my lovely wife, Kylie. I am Ron Burgundy, and this is our marketing guru, Taylor Antonelli. So Taylor, you're going to roll through with the questions.
So we started out about over a decade ago. Ben was selling real estate, and we kind of started by default actually. We started getting people requesting us to manage their properties, and we would then refer them onto another agency. And then we were a bit naive really, and we thought, why are we handing these over to other people? Why don't we manage them ourselves? And realised that was a way that we could build income for ourselves long term. We had a bit of an interesting way of prospecting in those early days, didn't we?
Yeah, we did. We licked a lot of envelopes and stamps and sent off a lot of letters, but it obviously started our rent roll, and from there it's grown, and it's been good fun.
Yeah, we also Ben had a profile obviously in the local community, so that kind of helped us kickstart the rent roll as well. And we made a lot of connections with local builders and developers. So you never know where that one conversation that you have with somebody might lead to. We ended up having some really fantastic referral arrangements with those sorts of people in the early days, which helped us grow quickly.
Oh, look, I don't see it as a hassle, Taylor. I think it's just a part of your business, and very much the core of any real estate business is their rent roll. Sales is obviously important, but there's no hassle in having a rent roll. It's definitely tough work and sometimes challenging, but most jobs are. So there's no easy way of working anywhere in any industry, and rent rolls are pretty much the same. You still have relationships with clients as well as tenants, and on the flip side of that, it helps with your sales. So if you have a rent roll, obviously your sales can increase.
You also, I think, I'll just jump in, and it's also good financial security. You, when you sell your business, at the end of the day, your sales department, it really isn't worth anything. But if you've got a rental portfolio, then that's how you can obviously get some financial freedom. It also, as your rent roll grows, you end up with equity in your business, which can help you if you need, finance down the track for other acquisitions or other projects that you want to do. And it's also a great, which obviously you can attest to this as well, it's a great place for in-house sales referrals or an in-house sales funnel.
Yep, absolutely. Look, I don't think there's a right or wrong answer. It depends on what your business model looks like and what your plan is for your business. Our business model didn't have buying a rent roll as a priority, so for that reason our rent roll is organically grown, and if we were to do it again, we'd probably do it the same way. And we're very strong in relationships in our community, and with, as Kylie said, with the builders and the developers around the communities, and for that reason it's helped us grow. We do a wonderful job here. Our service in the rent roll for the clients is second to none, so for that reason our referral business is really strong as well. So
the main positive for organically growing your real estate or your rent roll is that there's no mortgage attached to it. For true organic growth, the major negative is that it can be very slow growth and stunted. So you have to be very conscious about how you're going to bring in your rentals. And there's a few ways of doing that. You can hire a BDM, you can obviously develop referrals, sales leads, that sort of thing.
We have considered it, Taylor, but as we mentioned earlier, our business plan didn't have that as a priority. So there is obviously benefits in buying them. You've got an income straight away. You've got sales that will fall out of the rent roll straight away. So I guess, as I said earlier, depending on what your business model looks like, there definitely is a positive in buying them, but we just wouldn't buy them. We prefer to organically grow them.
A lot of people think also that the negative with buying them is that you're going to be buying somebody else's mess, that there's a lot of issues in that portfolio. So one way to overcome that is to get a due diligence done on your rent roll before you purchase it. I had a bit of a chat recently to Tazi Hines, who's a due diligence expert in the real estate industry, and she I can't recommend her highly enough, but she is a big believer in that is the best way moving forward if you're going to purchase it. There's also, obviously if you're purchasing rent roll, you've got an income injection into your business, so that is a positive, and that happens immediately. Get a plan. Have a plan.
Have a plan. Be resilient. Work very hard. There's no other way around it. Be tough and resilient.
Get set up. You need to know, you need to know all your legislation, your compliance. Yes, you do. Of course you do. Or somebody in the business needs to know all that sort of stuff. You need to know what sort of property management, how you're going to manage your rent roll with software. There's a lot of great tools online where you can research and a lot of great property management groups you can jump into as well on Facebook. We've got one as property management support where you can jump in and ask all sorts of questions about setting up a rent roll, which software to use. Another good tip if you're setting up a rent roll is to look at virtual assistants as well. Then I guess moving on from the compliance and legislation, you've also got to look at your systems and procedures, which can be a bit of a daunting task when you're starting out. Another major consideration, I guess, when you're looking to set up a rent roll is what your fees are going to be. A good way to find out what everybody else is doing in the market is doing a bit of a secret shopper, setting up an account and finding out what all your competitors are charging, because you don't want to go into the market too high, and you also don't want to go in too low and affect your bottom line either. So some of the management fees you'll need to consider is obviously your rent collection, your management fee, your end of financial year fee, lease renewal fee, advertising fees. There's a whole host of fees that you will need to consider, and I guess you don't have to do what everybody else is doing, but it is certainly good to have an understanding of where your competitors are at with their fees. Anything else to add to that?
No.
I think don't be afraid to start your rent roll. Please, seek out advice and support. We would be happy to help anybody interested in starting a rent roll with some questions and answers. One of the quickest ways to start growing is hire a BDM, get on social media, learn how to do good Facebook ads, learn how to set up your profile on there, get involved in your local community. That's one way we got started early on. We weren't local to our area. When we moved in, we got very heavily involved in the local community pretty quickly, didn't we? And I guess, also make sure you set up a database. Some of your rentals might not come in quickly. So sometimes you've got to keep developing relationships with people, keep contacting them, maybe by the third or the fourth time. So you need a way to track the people that you're talking to and constantly go back to them. And yeah, I guess just like as you said earlier, just don't be resilient and don't give up.
Bunker down and do the hard work, Taylor. So next week, Taylor, I think we're going to talk about frequently asked questions in real estate. Is that right?
Yeah, that's correct.
Excellent. And who's on?
You and Adam.
Really?
Yeah.
A team, A and B team.
Cool. Thanks, Taylor.
Thanks everyone.